All right, let's dive into another deep dive. This time we're heading into the world of generative AI. Um, yeah, this stuff is pretty wild. We're going to be looking at some excerpts from generative AI law.pdf to, yeah, basically figure out where the law stands on this whole thing.
It's a really fascinating area, because it's moving so fast and the law is always trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to even know where to start. But I think maybe the best place is, even Aya's generative AI. I mean, I know we've all seen those fake pictures of people online, but like, what's actually going on there?
Right. Yeah, those are a great example. Basically, generative AI is all about AI systems that can create new content. So they could be images, like you said, or text, or even music.
Whoa, wait, AI can write music.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's pretty amazing stuff.
So, like, you could have an AI compose a symphony.
Absolutely. And it's not just, random notes. It can actually learn from existing music
Hmm.
and create something that sounds, really good, really coherent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? Like, what's the tech behind all this magic?
Well, at its core, it's all about machine learning, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, deep learning.
Deep learning, huh? That sounds kind of intense.
Yeah, it can get pretty complex, but the basic idea is that you have these neural networks that learn from data.
Neural networks, like the things in our brains.
Exactly. It's kind of like a simplified model of the brain where you have all these interconnected nodes that process information.
Mm.
And the more data you feed into the network, the better it gets at recognizing patterns and making predictions.
So it's like teaching a computer to see the world, but instead of eyes, it's using data.
That's a good way to put it. And once it's learned enough, it can start to create new things based on those patterns.
So like those fake people pictures, the AI has learned what a face looks like from millions of real photos, and then it can just create a new face that's never existed before.
Ex-
That's kind of freaky, but also super cool. So are there like different types of generative AI? I mean, are they all just doing the same thing?
No, there are actually a few different approaches. One of the most popular ones is called JANS, which stands for Generative Adversarial Networks.
Jans. Okay, so what's so special about Jans?
Well, with JANS, you actually have two neural networks working together. It's kind of like a competition, You have one network that's trying to generate data, like images, and then another network that's trying to tell if those images are real or fake.
Wait, so it's like one AI is trying to fool the other AI.
Exactly. And as they compete, they both get better. The generator gets better at creating realistic images, and the discriminator gets better at spotting fakes.
So it's like an AI arms race, but for art.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
That's crazy. But you said there were other types of generative AI too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Another popular approach is called VAEs, or variational autoencoders.
VAEs. Okay, so how do those work? Are they like JANs with two networks fighting it out?
Not exactly. VAEs are more about understanding the underlying structure of the data. So they learn to encode the data into a compressed format, and then they can decode it back, creating variations on the original.
So it's like compressing a file on your computer, but then you can uncompress it and get a slightly different version.
Yeah, kind of. It's a bit more complex than that, but that's the basic idea.
That's really cool. So you have JANs that are like battling it out to create realistic stuff, and then VAEs that are more about understanding the data and creating variations.
Exactly. And there are even more types, like normalizing flows and autoregressive models. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, depending on what you're trying to do.
This is blowing my mind. It's like AI is already so creative and it's only getting more advanced.
It really is. It's amazing to see what people are doing with it.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, what's next? Where is all this headed?
That's a great question, and one that we'll definitely be exploring more as we dive deeper into the legal and ethical implications of generative AI.
Okay, so that brings us to the next part of our deep dive. This is where things start to get really interesting because now we have to figure out, like, how does the law even apply to all this?
Exactly. And trust me, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The law is definitely playing catch up when it comes to AI. I mean, it's a whole new ball game, right?
It is. And one of the biggest questions I have is about intellectual property. Like, if an AI creates something, who owns it? Is it the person who made the AI or the person who used it? Or, like,
You've hit the nail on the head.
yeah.
Intellectual property law is really struggling with this. It's built around human authorship, and now we've got machines churning out creative work.
Right. So, like, let's say an AI writes a song that becomes a huge hit. Who gets the royalties?
That's the million-dollar question, and the answer is, well, nobody really knows for sure yet. Current copyright law is super murky when it comes to AI-generated stuff.
Murky.
Yeah, like unclear. Some countries, they're saying that you need a human to be involved for something to be copyrighted. So if the AI did it all by itself, it might not be protected.
So, like, anyone could just use it. That's kind of wild.
It is. But other countries, they're trying to figure out new ways to deal with it. They're thinking about giving the copyright to the AI's owner or the person who used it.
I guess that makes sense, but it still feels weird, Like, what about patents? Can you patent something an AI made?
Ah, patents. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. Patent law usually says you have to be a human to be an inventor. But now we have AIs that can come up with new designs, new algorithms, even scientific discoveries.
So, is the AI the inventor then?
Yeah, that's what some people are arguing. They say AI should be eligible for patents because it encourages innovation. But others, they're worried it would mess up the whole patent system.
Yeah, I can see that. And then there's trade secrets, right? Like, how do you protect an AI algorithm that a company spent millions developing?
That's where trade secrets come in. Companies can keep their algorithms super secret, like a recipe for Coca-Cola.
Right, makes sense. But let's switch gears for a second and talk about data privacy. These AIs are trained on massive amounts of data, and sometimes that data is really personal stuff, right?
Absolutely. Data is the fuel for AI, but we have to use it responsibly. We've got laws like GDPR and CCPA that set rules about how data can be collected and used, and AI systems have to follow those rules.
So it's not just about making cool AI, it's about making sure it doesn't violate anyone's privacy.
Exactly. Companies have to take steps like minimizing the data they collect, making it anonymous, and getting people's consent before they use their data.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about liability? Like, what happens if an AI creates something that's harmful? Who's responsible for that?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that's still being debated. Figuring out who's liable for AI outputs is tricky. It could be the developers, the companies using the AI, even the end users. It depends on the situation.
So it's kind of a legal gray area.
Yeah, for now. We're seeing new laws and court cases popping up all the time, so the landscape is constantly changing.
That makes sense, especially since this technology is moving so fast.
Exactly. And to make things even more complicated, AI isn't just used in one industry, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Like in healthcare, I've heard about AI being used to diagnose diseases. Is that generative AI too?
It can be. Generative AI is super useful in healthcare. It can be used to create synthetic medical images, for example.
Synthetic, like fake ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not real patient data, but they look just like the real thing. Doctors can use them for training, so they don't have to use actual patient data, which helps protect privacy.
Wow, that's really clever. So it's
Yep.
like a safe way for AIs to learn.
Yep. Generative AI can also be used to make existing medical images better, clear, higher resolution, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow. So doctors can see things better. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It can help them diagnose things more accurately, which can, of course, save lives.
That's incredible. What about personalized medicine? I've heard that's a big thing now.
It is. And generative AI can play a big role in that, too. It can analyze tons of patient data, like their genes, lifestyle, medical history, and then help doctors figure out the best treatment for that specific person.
So it's like having a super smart doctor's assistant.
Exactly. But, of course, all this has to be done super carefully. Healthcare is heavily regulated, so any AI used in this field has to meet really high standards.
Right. You don't want the AI making any mistakes with people's health. So, aside from healthcare, where else is generative AI being used?
Oh, all over the place. Finance is a big one.
Finance. Really? I wouldn't have thought of that.
Oh, yeah. Finance is all about data, and AI is great at analyzing data. It can help detect fraud, like credit card scams and stuff.
Wait, so the AI can spot a scammer before they even try anything?
Well, it can spot suspicious activity. Yeah. It looks for patterns in the data that might indicate fraud.
That's awesome. It's like having an AI bodyguard for your money.
Uh-huh, kind of. And generative AI can also help with things like personalized financial advice. Based on your spending habits and goals, it can give you advice on how to invest your money.
So it's like having a robo-financial advisor.
Exactly. But just like with healthcare, there are a lot of regulations in finance, so any AI used in this field has to be really carefully designed and tested.
Right. You don't want the AI gambling away your life savings. So any other industries where AI is making a splash?
Oh, tons. But one that's really interesting and maybe a little scary is media and entertainment.
Ooh, media and entertainment. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, You know how movies are using more and more CGI these days?
Yeah.
A lot of that is powered by generative AI. It can create realistic animations, design complex 3D environments, even create characters that look and move like real people.
Whoa, that's insane. So, like, the next big blockbuster could have AI-generated actors.
It's possible. And it's not just visuals. AI is being
Mm.
used to compose music, even write scripts.
Whoa, hold on. AI can write scripts now, like for movies and stuff.
Yep. It can analyze tons of existing scripts, learn how stories are structured, and then generate new ones.
Wow. So, like, the next Hollywood hit could be written by a robot.
It's possible,
Hmm.
but of course this raises all sorts of ethical questions, especially with things like deepfakes.
Deep fakes. Oh, yeah, those videos where they make it look like someone is saying or doing something they never did. That's scary stuff.
It is,
Mm.
and it's one of the big challenges of generative AI.
Yeah.
We have this amazing technology that can create all sorts of incredible things, but it can also be used to deceive people.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword. It's cool, but also kind of dangerous.
Exactly. So we need to figure out how to use this technology responsibly, how to balance its potential benefits with its potential risks.
And speaking of balancing things, what about education? I've heard AI is being used in schools now, too. How does that work?
Education is another area where AI has huge potential. It can help personalize learning,
Mm.
like you can figure out what each student's strengths and weaknesses are and create a learning plan just for them.
Whoa, so it's like having a personal tutor for every student.
Kind of. It can also help teachers create more engaging learning materials, like interactive simulations and games.
So it's not about replacing teachers.
Why not? It's about giving teachers more tools to help their students learn. Teachers still play a crucial role in guiding and inspiring students.
Right, that makes sense. So basically, AI is changing everything, and we're just trying to keep up.
Pretty much. It's an exciting time, but it's also a time for careful consideration. We need to think about the legal and ethical implications of this technology and make sure we're using it for good.
Okay, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on the present state of generative AI and its impact on different industries. But what about the future? What's coming next?
The future. Now that's where things get really interesting. And that's what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. So we've talked about how generative AI is already impacting so many different areas, but now let's really zoom in on the legal side of things, because that's where things can get tricky.
It's almost like AI is this runaway train, and the law is just trying to lay down the tracks in front of it as fast as it can.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. The technology is moving so quickly that it's hard for the legal system to keep up.
Right. And like we were talking about before, one of the biggest areas where this is playing out is with intellectual property.
Absolutely, because at its core, intellectual property law is all about protecting human creativity,
Yeah.
right? But what happens when a machine starts creating things that are just as good, if not better, than what humans can create?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. Like, who owns the copyright to a song that an AI wrote or a painting that an AI painted?
Right, it's really uncharted territory. I mean, our current copyright laws were written for a time when the idea of a machine creating art was pure science fiction.
So are we just making it up as we go along?
Kind of. Different countries are taking different approaches, and there's a lot of debate going on about the best way to handle AI-generated works. Some courts are saying that there has to be a human involved in the creative process for something to be eligible for copyright protection.
So if an AI wrote a whole novel all by itself, no human input at all, it wouldn't be protected.
That's how some courts are interpreting the law, but others are starting to recognize that AI can be a creative force in its own right.
So maybe AI should be able to own copyrights.
Some people think so. They argue that recognizing AI authorship would encourage innovation in the field, but others think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it does get kind of philosophical, right? Like, what does it even mean for an AI to be creative?
And a deep question, and one that we'll probably be grappling with for a long time.
Okay, so copyright is complicated, but what about patents? Is it possible to patent something an AI created?
Patents. Yeah, that's another area where the law is scrambling to catch up. Traditionally, patent law requires a human inventor.
Right. So if I design a new widget, I can get a patent on it.
Exactly. But now we have AIs that can design new things, develop new algorithms, even discover new scientific principles.
Whoa. So should an AI be able to get a patent?
Some people think so.
Yeah.
They say it would encourage innovation in AI development, but others worry that it would create a whole bunch of problems.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, it could lead to a flood of patent applications from AIs, which could overwhelm patent offices and make it harder for human inventors to get their patents.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem. And it also just feels weird, right? Like an AI getting a patent.
Right, it challenges our fundamental ideas about what it means to be an inventor.
Okay, so we've got copyright and patents, but what about trade secrets? Like, how do you protect an AI algorithm that a company has spent millions of dollars developing?
That's where trade secret law comes in. Companies can use trade secret protection to keep their algorithms secret, kind of like they would protect a secret recipe.
So it's like their secret weapon.
Exactly. They can control who has access to the algorithm, and they can take steps to prevent reverse engineering.
But isn't it hard to keep things secret in the digital age? Like, people are always hacking and leaking stuff.
It's definitely a challenge. Companies have to be really vigilant about cybersecurity and take steps to protect their intellectual property. But trade secret law can still be an effective way to protect AI innovations.
Okay, so we've talked about how the law is grappling with AI in terms of intellectual property, but what about the bigger picture? Like, how is AI going to change society as a whole?
That's a big question, and one that we're only just starting to explore. I mean, AI has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, from the way we work to the way we interact with each other.
It's kind of scary, but also exciting, right? Like, we're on the cusp of something really big.
Exactly. And it's up to us to shape the future of AI, to make sure that it's used for good and not for harm.
So what can we do? Like, what are some of the things we need to think about as AI becomes more and more powerful?
Well, for one thing, we need to keep talking about these issues, to have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of AI. We need to involve everyone in the conversation, not just the tech experts, but also policymakers, ethicists, artists, educators, everyone.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Exactly.
Hmm.
We need to develop ethical guidelines for AI development and use. We need to think about the impact of AI on the workforce and make sure that people are prepared for the changes that are coming. We need to make sure that AI is used in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So it's a lot of responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity, right? I mean, AI has the potential to solve some of the world's biggest problems.
It absolutely does. We could use AI to develop new treatments for diseases, to combat climate change, to create a more sustainable future. The possibilities are truly limitless.
Well, I think that's a great place to end our deep dive. It's been an amazing journey exploring the world of generative AI. It's clear that this technology is going to have a profound impact on our lives, and it's up to us to make sure that impact is a positive one.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and to all our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions. The future of AI is in our hands.